Hey moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm coming to you today with just an exciting new focus. And this is what we're calling the Mogul Prophecy, the Gate 55 frequency shift, and how you can make the upgrade and avoid the collapse. All right, so welcome to the Mogul Prophecy series, and this is your frequency forecast, right? For the builders of the new reality that is coming, that is going to replace the old one. And we are the builders of the new reality. And I am Dr. Tracy Thomas. I am the Mogul Reality Maker. And I am a quantum transformation advisor, a reality scientist, and the founder of the International Moguls Club. So today, this is all about making sure that you get the official transmission all about the global mutation that is in progress as it is unfolding through the Gate 55 frequency and the shift from the previous frequency that was creating our reality to the new one, and everything that's going to go on through the process of the upgrade that it is, and how people can make the upgrade, and also helping understand the collapsing that is going on and the dissolving of the old reality, the old timelines, and making sure that if you so choose to, and that you get in alignment with this upgrade, that you can fully flow with this upgrade that humanity is in and being offered, and you can take absolute advantage of that. So if you're watching this, it means your system is already tracking the signal. All right, so this is your confirmation. So moguls, let's just come to understand that the Gate 55 frequency, which is the frequencies are what create reality, and they create each new era in humanity. And this Gate 55 frequency, some refer to it as the frequency of freedom. I like to call it, in my world, the freedom maker frequency. And in other frameworks, they call it the gate of abundance or spirit, the gate of frequency. This is a mutation in reality, and some refer to it as the code of sovereignty. Whichever it is, it produces freedom through truth, through everything that there is that will release us all from the lies and distortion of the previous era we've been in, releasing us from being kept in the dark about our true nature, our true power, who we really are, how the Creator created us to be, what this creation of us and this organism that we are, this collective organism, is here to do. And this freedom maker frequency and shift that is happening is an upgrade. It's fully online. Some people will make it if they do a certain set of things, and a lot of people won't. And that's just the reality. And the shift and the split has begun. There will be no middle ground. It's not an accident that we don't have a middle class anymore. We are being brought in for some time now as a steady influx of the new frequency and a dissolving of the old one takes place for quite some time now. Easily just increasing over the age of technology. Um, the shift has begun, and that's why there is no middle class anymore. People are either going to be at the highest levels, which will now become the baseline, or they're going to fade out. And I've come to a level of being able to just accept that. I've done a lot of work on myself to understand that that is not for me to judge. It is for me to report. That is what a projector is here to do. Projectors in human design, as I am, are frequency holders, signal givers, and guides. And having gone through a lot of rigorous training to be able to know how to navigate this upgrade for everybody, how to guide everybody, as the projectors are here to do. I've made my peace with everything I needed to and grieved all that I know is going to happen so that I could simply report from a neutral place and encourage you to take your options. So here's what you just need to understand. Again, there is no middle ground. There is no halfway. There's no hesitating. There's no toe dipping. There's no waiting to see. You are either A, making the upgrade, and that will be your focus, and you will make the shift from the old system to the new, or you are preparing to downgrade and for eventual collapse because the new frequency will not support anything that is not it. It is about truth, prosperity, sovereignty, abundance. It is a massive shift from more of a materially focused frequency to a massively emotionally focused frequency. It is finally the time for the feelers of the world to lead and not just the doers. It is a world where the feelers are coming into power. And that is what is appropriate after a long eons and eons down in the survival frequency run by all the generators of the world. So, this is not a fear transmission. This is a frequency truth, a physics based inevitability. And this is really important to know. Okay, moguls. Okay, so let's just take a moment and focus on this. Okay, just making sure my video is okay. It's finally working again. Okay, so here's what it is key to understand now. The reality field has split. Gate 55, this frequency that codes our entire reality in a new era of sovereignty, right? And the power of creative intent has come in and been steadily coming in and will fully click in February of 2027. As it is coming in, the older frequency is wrapping up, and this is really important to know. That is a upgrade, while it's also a destabilization of the old frequency, and we are here to build a new one that is built on truth and on authentic power, not on distortion and deception and corrupt power. And you can make this upgrade, but only if you're living above a certain frequency and aligned and aspirationally on track for that. Even if you're just heading toward it, you are safer, more secure, and better off. Okay, but if you are hesitating, delaying, looping in old patterns, all you got to know is you loop in patterns because you're in a low frequency, and it's all it can do is keep you looping in there. You cannot fix this from inside the frequency you're in. And most people, as I have learned and made so many suggestions to people over the years, my clients are the ones that take them. Mostly my friends and stuff are just, they're like, that's Dr. T or that's Tracy. And so is my family. But the people that get it, get it. So you can't keep being in the same frequency and expect to upgrade, folks. You have to actually shift on a higher level. And if you're living somewhere where the frequency is too low, it's just important to know that's likely that you're not going to make the upgrade. So this gate 55 frequency will collapse old structures around you very fast. And with each day, especially once it clicks in February of 27, it will go so fast. It will make your head spin. It reminds me a bit of in the year when the Twin Towers fell, World Trade Center. I lived in New York. I happened to be going into the office that day, ended up on a rooftop watching the two buildings on fire. It was very early. I just got out of the subway and I missed being stuck in the subway. Thank God that didn't happen. But at one point, both towers were standing, they were burning, and then all of a sudden, one just went like just down to the ground. It had been standing tall for quite a long time, and it just dropped. And then eventually the other one did. And this is the type of thing that's going to happen because we've been in eras of very slow change that now we've seen over the last couple of decades, things increasing, because those slow eras were of a certain frequency to get humanity to a certain point, build the material world. We built some really good stuff, but we also built a lot of corruption and poison and toxicity and inhumanity into it. So this phase evolution brings in order to maintain whatever was built on high intention and truth and what is needed in the new era, but it will also dissolve what is built on lies and distortion and is inhumane to humanity and does not operate at the highest frequency. So things will dissolve. When you go to try to make something in this other frequency, I'm thinking of somebody that I know who has a great new business, amazing idea. All this person is doing is constantly hustling for this new business, and it should be working really well. But there are also lots of parts of his own internal upgrades that are needed. And without focusing on that, he is not getting the support from the frequency in order for the whole thing to upgrade. And that's what's going to happen. It's different, folks. We used to be able to just hustle and grind our way to some level of existence, even if our frequency was low. That era is over. That's what's getting cleared out. The only way we will all make the upgrade is if we rise into high frequency through high intentionality, high purpose, alignment, truth, and purity. It is the only avenue and the path to sovereignty and being a freedom maker for yourself and humanity, freeing humans from the prison that the colonizing frequency and its leaders locked people into, compressing humans into a box and feeding them garbage, and really doing a horrifying level of reality on humanity. That is over. Okay, so just be on the watch out to know that if you are doing anything that is out of alignment with the frequency of truth and sovereignty and freedom for all of humanity, and if you are all for profit, not for people, if you are doing anything unethical, and especially if you're doing something criminal, I mean, this is a wipeout of all of that. It is cleaning house. That's what this frequency does. So evolution and the whole matrix of reality and the creator and the quantum field is so amazing. It takes us through different stages, just like a person goes through. And the stages are the building occurred, right? The prime years was the Industrial Revolution, material reality, massive expansion. And just like people do in their lifetime, they're building, and then they get to a certain point, and what is not aligned can no longer stand, and they start cleaning house. Well, our reality, our evolutionary forces, Earth itself, is going through an upgrade. It is not happy about being extracted from. This is our home. Earth is our mother reality energy. It is literally supporting us. And the colonizers have been extracting from it relentlessly and then getting us all to go along with it, which is just a short-term strategy, as they always have. But Earth and our new reality knows better. It says, I am done being in an abusive, extracting, narcissistic, supplying, one-way relationship, and where just a supply is being extracted and that's all there is. There's no end game. There's just like take as much as possible. And that's why we're seeing all these narcissists in the world, because it's a narcissistic reality field at this point. But what's great is The organism of Earth, the reality field, is like any one of us, going through that moment that says, I'm not doing codependency. I'm not supporting people who do not support me. I am making an upgrade, and it is doing a self healing, taking us as it knew to set it up through the development where everything got built, and now the clearing of what should remain. This is the refining phase, and anything built on lies and the low frequency is out. Imagine just a waterfall of reality that is only high frequency. And if you are not a match for it, you do not get fed. The plant that is high up gets the sun, and the one that is a low down in the frequency won't get it. So, very important, moguls, to understand these predictions of what's going to happen. If you are not aligned, you want to understand that anything that you're clinging to that is not truth, that is not honest, that is not an integrity, that is not aligned, that is not high frequency, you've got to know it's shifting. Okay, so think of this mogul map. Just watch out for these things. Over the next 18 to 24 months, here's what it looks like. The collapse of non-sovereign systems, right? Continuous dissolving of banks, schools, medical institutions, and corporations built on control, manipulation, coercion, codependence, extraction, all of that. They will continue to destabilize, and they'll go into stages of downgrading and eventually dissolving and crumbling. If you're still tied into these systems because you want your paycheck, your salary, your pension, that's not going to be there. And if you are tied to it or anything like that, your circuitry is too interwoven, you will be taken down with it. And the longer you delay, the more costly the extraction. I think of myself as I was extracting myself over the last 3 years from anything that had ever been in my life, including the way in which the system of America, the West, and how that has infiltrated the family system, the entire regional system, the state system, the field of reality into such a low frequency. And I was there my whole life. I was so interwoven with it, even when I knew I needed to flow upward, and I tried. I was doing everything at the top level. I've been teaching this for many years now. I was still staying loyal to the people that I love and trying to be successful in a field that you could only tread water in. And that's what the old paradigm realities are. They're extracting realities based on corruption. So the more success you have in something like that, it's going to get harder and harder. It eventually will go away. And if you keep building in it, you're just building your own collapse. Very, very fascinating. So for me, I felt I was literally tied to everyone and everything there. It's literally in your system. I had to start literally taking energetic scissors to literally cut myself out of this reality full of lies, full of no truth. Everybody sitting around having fake, false conversations, pretending this is normal for people. And my whole life, I was like, what is this? And I would just participate because it was the era, the old frequency got you to go along with everything. And then it was making me like that. I'm like, why am I having to pretend I know all this? Why am I having to pretend that I don't? Why am I having these dumb, inane conversations that I had in, 1980? And that's the same thing. Nobody's advancing or evolving because they're stuck in a loop. And I really just had to look at it. But then once I knew I had to upgrade more than I was doing because I was upgrading within a broken system, within layers of a broken system, I had to do literally energetic surgery that I had never done before. And there was no other surgeon that I knew that could do it. I had to do everything to make that shift so I could be here now to report on this upgrade and what's going to go on and how to navigate it. So if you are tied to anything that is out of alignment, outside of truth is even barely questionable, you are signing up to go down with the ship. Okay, so the other things you're going to see, the rise of the quantum creators and reality makers, those who have accepted their role as sovereign leaders, as transformational moguls, builders, empire makers, and dynastic founders of the new dynasties and empires of the new transformative reality, not the old corrupt extraction ones, but the absolutely transformative ones. This is all where these leaders are forming new fields of reality, new types of commerce, education, energy, and transformation. And you're going to see sovereign brands emerge seemingly overnight. It's not luck, it is frequency alignment, and the force is with them. You're going to see the mogul realities activate, right? That's what we've been creating. Our mogul reality is supporting other moguls to create their realities. Mogul means powerful self, highly positively influential, wealthy in the real way, not the false corrupt way, but wealth from the frequency. So more of these high level creative realities are going to be happening because we're shifting from an outdated hierarchy into these dimensional empires and dynasties. And we've been working on this for years. We have been working with clients who were so ahead of the curve, and the ones that we are with now are the same. That will continue. You'll see moguls rise by creating new economies, sovereign ecosystems, not just content or companies, right? But you're going to see people building a version of a new world. Okay, further in this mogul prophecy, you're going to see timelines crystallize by 2027. All right, so the gate to access your highest reality is now open. But by 2027, the frequencies will be locked. So you've got to choose now. You've got to move now, build now, create now, because your creation is the salvation. It is the elevation. It's not creating in the old false corrupt way. It is creating in a high frequency of flow, which is what we teach at the International Moguls Club and our mogul making programs. So another thing to look out for, the way you're going to feel. You're going to have a deep knowing and a simultaneous fear. You're going to have some fatigue because the old reality is going away and you're just be like, what am I doing? But you're also going to have that followed by sudden clarity. You may have emotional swings that call your attention to where you are still not free, because that is the awakening happening for you. And if you see those places, and for example, you're like in some relationship with your mother and you're still pretending and you can't say who you are because you're like afraid of her wrath or something, that will not fly. That will literally ensure you don't make the upgrade. And these are not setbacks, folks. These are upgrade symptoms that we're talking about. So don't treat them. Don't sit there over analyzing them. Just shift them, transmute them, and change them. All right, moguls. So let's focus on some mogul moves here. Decide what timeline you're choosing. Stop straddling, moguls. If you're in, be in, and get aligned and get completely focused on creating your new reality and make sure it's in alignment with the highest gate 55 frequency. That'll be completely what our life is absolutely, literally nourished by, right? So it's oxygen itself, right? If you're in, it doesn't matter what you've been doing. The old era where other people will figure it out and I'm over here doing Netflix and water skiing or whatever. Hey, I'm all for the fun, but I know, and I need you to know, you're here to get this information. The flood is coming and you need to have Noah's Ark built, because if you do not, you will not make the upgrade. This is not possible to do a reactive upgrade past a certain point. You will not have the capacity from down at a certain level to make it up to a certain point. You must declare now. Are you in? And it's okay if you're not. Some people don't want to make the transformative effort. That's why a lot of people are killing themselves. If I can be very blunt, they are not matching the higher frequency that is coming in. And they're the old way. If you, and I hate to see this, but this is what evolution is doing. The old mechanism, for example, where men, especially Western men, had a certain hold over everybody, had a certain lifestyle. This is what it is. All the extractors took everything, and now they're just continuing to divvy up all the crumbs that the West has. So there, nothing is left. So, for example, these young men, they can't buy a house. Those careers aren't going to be there. They're not a match for what is going on, and their only chance is to get aligned with being builders of the new world, not trying to be repeaters of the old world that is not going to be there. So people are taking themselves out because the frequency, if they're trying to be on the other frequency, it's going down and there's nothing to hold on to. If they're trying to be on the old life that their dad and granddad was on, it's not going to be there. They're not, it's not the era where you can go be a corrupt dude, be an asshole to your family, and sure, work your ass off your whole life. But, you know, it's not, that's not the life. It's not what the new world is about. The young men of this, the young people of this age, they are not even built for that reality. So if somebody's going to try to get them to get that old reality, it won't be there. That world is going away. Thank the extractors, the previous generations of these men who did this. It's not there. And they're checking out left and right because they are not aligned in the role they were really brought into play. The role they were brought into play is to be the builders of a completely new world. And the only way that can happen is to be having people guide them, which is what we're doing right here, to say that old world is done. It's dead. It's had its heyday. They extracted the life out of it. They couldn't just be profitable and wealthy and also leave some goodness in the world. They had to just steal it all. Just the way it is. Good news is the frequency is correcting that. So these young men, these young people are here to align with the new purpose to create the new world. It will not work by whining about why the old world isn't there. Why isn't this there? Why aren't the houses there? Why isn't the money there? Why aren't the jobs there? Why aren't the women there that will just put up with my whiny, undeveloped self? Right? Getting away with just being some bro dude. It's not there anymore. Let it go. Declare your next quantum role. Because if you're in, you need to get into a pathway and you can tune in for what we're going to be teaching people constantly. But if you're not, and I'm not here to judge it. I'm here to say, if you're not, you need to be clear about that and what's going on because it's not just going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be literally self-destructive because what is happening is different than anything else that has ever happened. Humanity has never been at this tipping point before. The end of an era, the beginning of a new one. At some point, that stops just being a transition and it begins, it clicks in, and then everything is different. And life as you once knew it and thought it would be, and your dad's and your granddad's and your great granddad's, like it isn't available anymore. And the one that you want is not available yet either, because guess what, everyone? You are the moguls that are here to build it. So it's like, this is crumbled. You don't have the house that you need. You don't have the civilization that you need. This one is going away. So even if you try to build it and follow in their footsteps, it won't work anyway. And if you're attached to someone continuing to do it, like in your family and trying to do the old thing and not shift, you'll go down with them. And yet you have a blank canvas before you. It is not built yet, but it is on the way, and the new sovereign moguls of the world and the ones we're supporting, and they're all over the world right now, are rising and emerging to create the new world based in the new frequency. And that frequency, the gate 55 frequency, is supporting them. And if you recognize, I'm going to let that go, that was of that era, and if I am alive right now, it is because I was brought in to do this transformation and build a new world. And then you can look at the blank canvas and say, what am I here to create? And let the gate 55 frequency give you the directions with which to create. And at this point, it's saying, build transformational leadership within yourself. Make transformation your number one skill set. Make transformational empires and dynasties as portals of transformation, because 8 billion people are going to be in a different reality than they have any sense of, because the other one is going away. Very important that you engage with people that are on this wavelength. So you create circuitry with them, because if you are engaging with people that are ignorant, stupid, or they're just too programmed into the other one that they will not listen or budge, and believe me, I have been there. You've got to disengage, because if you have circuitry with people that are going to ride the downgrade all the way down to where it goes, you will get sucked into the vortex of them by proximity. And if you are aligned with the new sovereign mogul builders of the world and creators, you will get attracted up and spiral up into the new reality, which is going to be phenomenal. And if you are here at this time, it is your assignment to build the new world, to support others while the old world dissolves and the new world is simultaneously being built. Because the number one thing this era is a transformation and a transition that is going to go on and on and on, rapidly gaining more rapid pacing until we eventually lock into such an immediate pacing where we give an intention and the reality is right there. Until we lock into that, you're going to feel like your head spin. And you eventually will catch up to the fact that we will be in a new system where intention equals immediate reality, versus the old system that said, here's your intention, but we're going to turn you into slaves, so you have to work and work and work and work and work, and then you can have your reality. That was all the simulation of reality and the scam that was played on you. The new one is that the more you move towards your highest intentions, the more you will be able to become an intentional reality maker. And that reality will be instantaneous, because we will go from having an intention, working forever, and maybe getting it and likely not. That's how most people's lives are, to becoming intentional reality makers, where we synchronize with intention, and the moment we have it, the reality is there. That's what we have to look forward to, but we must make the transformation the priority. We must make the upgrading of ourselves the priority, or we will not receive it and we'll go down the downgrade. Okay, so this is very important. This is why it's a prophecy, and why this matters are the global field effects that are happening. Because everything you do now sends a signal into the quantum field. You are either stabilizing the field, or you are anchoring the new creation. So if you are stabilizing the field that is collapsing, you'll go down with that. You will just steadily downgrade until there's a more of a fiery downgrade. Or you are now anchoring the new field of creation, what we refer to as the mogul reality field, as everything is going to turn into frequency fields that we all know about, instead of having that hidden from us. Instead of everything being about material wealth, the 3D reality field, and it's only if I can touch it, it's real. We're going into the multiple 4D, 5D. If you haven't been hanging out there like myself and most of my reality folks around me, my team and all of that, you will look forward to it, you'll upgrade, and we're heading all the way over this entire era into the 12th dimension, where Everything that is available is high frequency, and it has little to nothing to do with physical matter itself, which is very low frequency, by the way. So, the wealth, the wellness, the power you're meant to hold, this is the frequency that you want to govern now. Okay, the new frequency will not come to those sitting on the fence. If you're sitting on the fence, you might as well go toward the downgrade. And this is why, over the years of doing our transformational company, we've continued to evolve it, and now it is the International Moguls Club, which is a sovereign circuitry for builders of the new reality. All right, so we've been doing this a very long time. This goes back to 2012, and I have been leading leaders since I was 23, and this has been my entire life. So I'm also a 5-1 projector, which means I am a visionary architect of higher realities. And I help the other types, the manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, and reflectors, build and create and play their roles and build a new civilization. And that is the role. So the International Moguls Club is because this is a global upgrade, a global shift. And as moguls, we are in our power, authentic power, not having been disempowered and then trying to gain false power in a sick system. All right, so being a mogul means I choose to step up and become a leader of the new world. And it means a dynasty maker because we're building a new global human family and a global international dynasty. One world. Finally, we are coming into an era where we will be unified, and there are so many great things to look forward to. I really invite you all to consider this heavily. Okay, so this is very much a mogul prophecy, and subscribe now if you have not yet, just to make sure you're following along, tuning in, and plugging into the signal that's going to tell you what's going on and what to do. This is a high frequency current. And so it would be great if you want to make sure that you have circuitry with us. It's going to keep you rising up, awakening into this, reigning over your reality, and ultimately transcending the low frequency and making the upgrade happen so you elevate into the high frequency. You can like this video, let the field of reality know you are all in for the upgrade. Comment below with your mogul move and be clear. What are you going to do right now to prepare yourself and the people in your life for this upgrade? You can go to the links in the description to get your free human design chart and access the mogul upgrade books that are going on there and resources. You can also look at all the info on our International Moguls Club and book a consultation. All right, moguls, this was the Mogul Prophecy, the Gate 55 frequency shift to help you make the upgrade, or at least make some sort of a plan if you're going to take the downgrade and go along with the collapse. I'm Dr. Tracy Thomas, again, reality scientist and dynasty maker. You're not just watching the future, folks. You are here to make it. And we'll be back next week with more prophecy for the builders of the new world. And until then, stay upgraded, stay intentional, stay sovereign, get into the truth, start shifting everything that you can, and just way to go in receiving this and aligning with the upgrade. All right, moguls, I'll see you next time. Take care.